Hello, this is Claricia Lake Myers. I am coming to you today. This is my second day of the 21-day video challenge. And the topic today is to tell who I really am. Who am I really? Well, as I said, I'm Claricia, and most people know me as Reese, like Reese Peanut Butter Cup. And the experience that I'm going to share is one that I think could be helpful to everyone, especially for families that are very, very close. I always thought my family was close. I mean, my parents, my siblings, and I, we were always very close. I grew up in the Virgin Islands, in St. Thomas, and as we children grew up, we moved away, and my parents were still living at home in the Virgin Islands. And we would see them every year. My parents would come visit each one of us, my two older siblings, and myself and my youngest sister. Anyway, my my mother and father purchased a home in Missouri, and they, as they were getting up in age, we would now go to visit them. My youngest sister, she had two marriages. The first one failed, and so she's now currently on her second marriage, and she and her new husband were living with my parents. And I thought everything was going smoothly. But then she told us, or she told her siblings that in case my parents, anything happened to them, she wanted to downsize my parents' homes to something that she and her husband could afford. And we had no problems with it. We would call to still check on our parents because we all lived far away. And we noticed that we were not speaking with our parents like we would like to. She's had an excuse. My parents were asleep, or she couldn't come to the phone, and we didn't think anything sinister was going on. Anyway, to make a long story short, my father passed away, and we knew he wanted to be his remains to be brought to the Virgin Islands to be buried. But instead, my sister had him cremated, and that was very upsetting to all of the siblings. And we felt that she was going to do the same thing to my mother. But right after that, this was in 2013, all communication ended. Every time we called, we could not get through. They wouldn't answer the phone. And there was a rift, in fact, that kept getting wider. And we knew something was wrong. My older sister and I, we tried to get guardianship of my mom. We went through court, and by the time we were able to see my mom, she was very frail, and she was taken from the home and put in a nursing home for rehabilitation, or like hospice, something to that effect. And within 2 weeks, my mom passed away. This was on December 3rd. So we knew what my mother wanted. Both my parents, they wanted to go back home to be funeralized and buried at home in the Virgin Islands. But my sister had other ideas. She was trying to have my mom cremated like she had my dad. And because my mom and dad did not have a will, even though we knew what they wanted, but because they did not have a will, things did not go as we would have wanted, as they would have wanted. And so that has been causing me a lot of pain and suffering and concern. And so the lesson in all of this is, if you have loved ones, especially as they're getting older in age, you need to check on them more often and make sure certain things are in place. It can avoid a lot of heartache and pain because of all of this. There's separation in the family. There's a lot of pain. And it's not something that you just dismiss and get over easily. I'm still working with it, still working through it. And yes, so bottom line, get a will, a living will, even if you have to. And that is my experience that I hope someone can learn from this. And yes, my husband and I were getting a will too. See you on day 3.